Work hard, play strong, defend the shield, always for the black and gold. We go the extra mile, we never yield, marching to victory we roll, because we are the village school. Knights for life, defend the shield. We are the knights of the village school, our hearts are fierce and bold. Work hard, play strong, defend the shield, always for the black and gold. We go the extra mile, we never yield, marching to victory we roll, because we are the village school. Knights for life, defend the shield.
Good evening. Happy Mother's Day. One programming note, this is pre-recorded, so our moms that are on this telecast can enjoy Mother's Day. But welcome back to Leading from Lanai. I'm Dennis Chapman, head of the Village School, and I'm so glad you're with me again here on the Lanai. We're about to start week 9 of distance learning and working from home, and we are nearing the finish line. My prayer specifically this week is for our AP students as they navigate their exams in the upper school, as well as continued prayers for our teachers, students, and parents as we all navigate distance learning together. This past week was an awesome week for the Village School. Our senior caravan on Tuesday was highlighted on Wink News as well as the Naples Daily News. So hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at that. We were able to deliver caps and gowns and yard signs and gift baskets and made our announcement for graduation, which I'll share with you shortly. This week was also highlighted by Teacher Appreciation Week, and we had an amazing parade of cars on Friday. This event was sponsored by Vespa. We had over 152 cars come through, and it was so awesome to see so many of your faces, albeit from a social distance. Did want to share with you, we will have in-person 8th grade graduation and 12th grade graduation. So the 8th grade will be on June 19th at 6 p.m., while the 12th grade commencement will be on June 20th at 2 p.m., both in the sanctuary. Seating will be limited to these events to teachers from the respective division, the graduates, and immediate family members. But it will be live streamed for all to enjoy. So more information on that to come. But we're so glad we're able to do this for our students and to commemorate this milestone with them. This coming week, you will receive an email and a video from our task force on the reopening of our campus in the fall. You can look for regular updates from now and throughout the summer as we continue to track the virus and establish our TVS standard of care in the new normal. A few other events for this week. Tuesday will be the preschool to kindergarten transition at 7 o'clock. Wednesday will be the middle school, the 5th grade to middle school transition at 7 o'clock. And Thursday, all the rising 9th graders for upper school will be at 7 o'clock. All those will be Zoom meetings, and we hope you can join us for them. So tonight's episode is all about VESPA, which is the Village School Parent Association. And of course, it's about moms, right? It's Mother's Day. So we have such a great group of dedicated parents here and that have done so much for our school community and continue to do so much for us in the future. So I've invited 3 members of our VESPA leadership team to join us, and as well as our director of development. So the first person I'm going to introduce is no stranger to this Lanai. She is someone that enjoys the Lanai, I think, almost as much as I do. I think probably that's pretty easy to say. And that is my wife, Brooke Chapman.
Hello.
Hey, Brooke, how are you?
I am great. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. So why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and to our audience, maybe that don't know a lot about you.
Okay, great. This is my second year at the Village School, and we have 2 children, a 1st grader, soon to be 2nd grader, and a 5th grader who will be transitioning into middle school. So that's exciting.
How do you feel about that?
That's a big question. I'm excited for her. I think that she is very ready, and I think she's gonna love it. But as a mom, I'm a little sad, but that's okay. How do you feel about that?
Well, as a dad of a daughter, always a little bit hesitant when I'm thinking about my daughter growing up. It's very challenging to think about, but I'm excited for her growth and maturity. She's actually really grown quite a bit, even at this time being at home, taking on more and more responsibilities around the house. So there's a silver lining for you as well. So awesome. Well, thank you for joining me on our Lanai.
Oh, I see you do this every week, and I've never gotten to be on the camera. So
we're glad to have you. We're glad to have you. Next up, we have one of our most dedicated volunteers and a great friend of Village School, Jody Montgomery. Hey, Jody.
Hello. Hi. Hi, Brooke. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Jody.
So, Jody, why don't you share with our audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Okay. Well, I'm Jody Montgomery, and I have a daughter, Katie, who is in 7th grade. She'll be a rising 8th grader next year. And my son, Jack, is in the 4th grade at Village School. And we've been at the school since preschool. So I got involved, I guess, with helping the school by being a room parent, volunteering in the classrooms when the kids were little. And then got really involved when we started doing the gala, the big event. And now I'm happy to be working with Brooke and the other VESPA leaders. And it's just been a lot of fun, and it's a great way to meet other parents.
Awesome. Well, we're so grateful for you, Jody, and all that you do for our community and continue to do. Next up, we have, we have another popular face that you've seen around campus, everything from cheerleading to volunteering, and Sarah Germain.
Hi.
Welcome to the Lanai.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So why don't you share with our audience a little bit about you?
We have been at the Village School, just finishing up our 5th year here. I've got 3 boys, a 6th grader, Christian, a 2nd grader, Logan, and a kindergartner, Riley. I'm also, as you said, the cheerleading coach at school, along with 2 others. And I think also, like Jody said, I got involved just as a room parent, and, kind of escalated from there. We'll just kind of dabbled in everything, and now you can't get rid of me.
Exactly. Well, it's kind of like the mafia, right? Like you can't leave once you're in, right? Like you're made, you're in. We're not letting you go anywhere. So we're so glad to have you. And really, we can't do what we do as a school community without volunteers. And we've got 2 awesome, 3 here. I consider you kind of on the payroll, even though you're not, because you have to listen to all of my stuff all the time. But 3 awesome, dedicated volunteers that allow us to do the great work. So thank you for all that you do. And then our final guest to bring on the show is our Director of Development, Mrs. Jane Badger. Hello, Jane.
Hi, Dennis. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for joining me on the Lanai.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here with Jody and Sarah and Brooke.
Absolutely. So for those that don't know, our Parent Association falls under the umbrella of the Development Office. And so Jane's quite involved with all the efforts of VESPA. And we've got such a great team, and we're so glad to have you, Jane. Jane is such a trooper. She will do just about anything that's asked of her, including, I will have to I'm going to say it, Jane, being Sir, I call him Sir Wins-A-Lot, our mascot. Jane was Sir Wins-A-Lot all day on the senior caravan on Tuesday and volunteered for the job. And she doesn't just raise money and build relationships. She's willing to put on the mascot uniform. So big kudos to you, Jane.
It was my pleasure. And like I always say, it's getting to know the parents that makes my job the most fun. So I was happy to do that and get kind of a glimpse of the senior parents as you and Jason delivered their cap and gown. So it was really fun on a lot of different levels.
It absolutely takes a village, for sure. So Jane, why don't you share with the audience a little bit about your background and what brought you to the Village School?
Sure. Well, I'm a fairly newcomer to the Village School, having started in June. And I have been involved in independent school before, but my most recent position was at the Boys and Girls Club. And I just love being around children. That's really what I love. And getting to know the kids at the Village School has been a joy. And one of the things that I love the most is, of course, is seeing the kids walking back and forth on campus. So yesterday's parade allowed me to see a whole bunch of kids from their cars, at least, and that brings me joy and brought the teachers so much joy. So thank you, parents, for doing that for us, because we loved it just as much as the students did. And I loved hearing the students call out to their teachers. It was really great.
It was very emotional. I was smiling the entire time behind my face mask. No one could see, but maybe next time I'll draw like a little smiley face on it so people know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was such an awesome experience. It was really a nice pick-me-up that I think we kind of all needed now that we're kind of, I think, at the halfway point of this deal. And thank you all for organizing it. It meant a lot to our community. So, well, let's jump right into it here. I'm going to try to run this show with a co-host, which I've never done before. So hopefully we won't have any technical issues. But I do like having my co-host here as my sidekick. So my first question to you all is, as this pandemic has continued to go on so much longer than any of us imagined, how are you feeling these days? So I'll start here with Brooke. How are you feeling?
I feel very hopeful. I'm very much an optimistic person anyway, so I feel hopeful and I feel confident that this will pass soon and that we will all be back together again. And I feel very confident in the administration of the Village School that they will come up with a great plan to get the kids back together, but also safely.
Absolutely. I think it's a balancing act between optimism and realism, and that's really what we're up against. But I'm glad to hear you're hopeful, as I am too. Jody, what about you? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I think just like anybody else with their kids at home, and just the difference between what last May was like versus this May. You have your ups and your downs, and days that go great and days that are kind of, but I'm like Brooke. I too am hopeful. And after yesterday's parade, I know that we're all really excited to get back to next year and to get back on campus. The school has done a lot of great things to help maintain some sense of normalcy for the kids, but just there's nothing like being on campus and just that feeling you get, So I know I'm looking forward to that as well.
Absolutely. It's hard to replicate that feeling you get, as you walk through our halls, and our teachers are doing everything they can to try to make that, happen in a distance. But it certainly is very challenging for all of us, but we're good. How about you, Sarah? How are you feeling these days?
I think we're just adjusting to the new normal. The middle there, I think, was just a little hard on our kids, and they were sad there for a little bit. But the teachers have done just an amazing job of keeping them, feeling normal, feeling happy, and just keep getting them adjusted, really. So as long as my kids are happy, I'm happy, hopeful. We're missing our friends, of course, but, I don't think there's any right way to feel. No one is doing a good job. It's just everyone's doing the best they can, and we're all getting through it. And as long as everyone is happy and healthy, that's the most that we can ask. Staying positive is probably what we all need to do.
Yes, absolutely. It's challenging, I think, at times, because this thing is such a roller coaster to stay positive. But I think you have to have that cautious optimism about the future and hold on to that hope at this time. Jane, what about you? How are you feeling?
Like everyone, I think positivity is the most important thing. So I really feel like we're really strong as a community. And for me personally, I try to remember every day that there's something that I can do to make my job work better for the benefit of all the families at school and for the school itself. So I feel like being positive is the most important thing. We have to share the joys and the challenges as a community and as a world. And so I do that. We're so blessed that we're all healthy, and our families are healthy and doing it the best they can, as Sarah said. And so as long as we remember that we are all in this together and we are working strong to get to the next step, we will be strong.
Absolutely. Well, and so much of your job is building those relationships and keeping our community connected. And I know it's really appreciated by our families. Speaking of keeping connected, how is VESPA? This is a challenging time to kind of keep our school community connected. And a big part of, your job as really ambassadors of the school is to do that, is to keep us connected in a, you know, as a school. So, so Jody, what are some ways that you all are doing that?
Well, yesterday on Friday, we had the parade for the teachers for Teacher Appreciation Week. And I think that was something that really helped to connect us at this time, considering that it's been so long since we've all been together. And we did a virtual kind of VESPA meeting about, oh gosh, time is kind of losing its trend, but like 6 weeks ago, maybe. And I'd love to do another one if we can get one organized before the end of the school year. I think that would be great. Just a chance for parents to socialize and get to talk to one another. And of course, we're already working on what we're going to do next year. So we've been trying to keep some sense of socialization with the parents in ways that we can. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was a fun meeting for those that missed it too. And I like that you even incorporated at the end where you could bring your own beverage, and that was a nice little treat at the end. You know, we're trying to do that as well with our faculty. In fact, we had our second virtual happy hour last night to culminate Teacher Appreciation Week. And Jane and members of our leadership team did a great job of delivering beverages after the parade to folks that wanted either coffee or seltzer or beer or wine. And we had a great time together last night. I think it's so important to do that, you know, even though it is through Zoom, just seeing each other's faces and reactions and sharing stories. It's just so crucial right now at this time. I think we're missing social interaction desperately. And so we have to be proactive and seek it. Sarah, what are some other ways?
You know, even just on personal levels, I think that as VESPA leaders, we're all just trying to keep in touch with other parents, our room parents, other VESPA members, just because we need to be a good ear for them to vent to, or it's just someone to relate to, and just sharing experiences and just socialization as much as we can with other parents, and just making sure that they know that we're there for them and we're doing it too. And the parade was a big one. That one was so special to all of us. We so wanted to do it, and it was so emotional. And it wasn't just, it was for the teachers, but really it was for all of us. Those kids, they needed to see their teachers, and us parents, we needed to see their faces, and our administrators. And it was just, it was for all of us. And that was really special to do. And we were really glad that worked out.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you all did. You know, I'm on several listservs, but one in particular is FCIS heads of school, and everybody was trading ideas, and no one had this idea in Florida, and you all pulled it off. And you're right, it really made everybody feel so much better. And in fact, our faculty, many of them left from there to deliver yard signs to our parents. And I think what a great full circle of community that is, right? Like, you were there to honor them, they were out to honor you, and it's just gives me goosebumps, it's feeling the love, right? What about you, Brooke?
Well, yeah, like Jody and Sarah shared, we did the Zoom VESPA meeting last month. And yes, we would like to get one more scheduled on the calendar before the end of the school year. And the parade, obviously, was amazing. And another thing that you may have seen an email about is about the Parent Ambassador Program.
Very important.
We have lots of new families already signed up to start next year. And so the Parent Ambassador Program matches a current family with a new family or a prospective family. And, there's a lot of work behind the scenes with Jane and Badger and Cameron Cease and VESPA to match the right families together that our current families can really help our new families fit in and find their group and, feel part of the community and get involved and, answer all those questions that, new families have for the first day of school. And so anyways, it's very important. It's very rewarding to be an ambassador family. So if you're interested, make sure you look back in your emails. I'll probably send it out one more time, but there's
That's
a
good.
form that you can fill out so we can match the families together.
Yeah, I mean, that's such an important initiative that you all do together with the leadership of our school, because it's always important as you try to navigate, especially we use all these, terms in school and people are like, what are they talking about? To have that person to be able to ask those questions to. But I think it's even more important right now because in this unique time that we're in, for you to be able to talk to families that are coming into our school that can't experience the brick and mortar, feel of the school, for you to be able to communicate how we've done both in brick and mortar and in distance learning. And no matter what is thrown our way in the fall, we're going to be ready for it. And I think that's really critical right now as we think about, onboarding new families into our community. Jane, what would you like to add to that?
Well, absolutely. I think onboarding is the best word, really, Dennis, because I think the parents are the conduit to everything at our school, really. You guys are our source of getting people together, getting people to know one another. And the ambassador program is key in that, because we really want to make sure that once they're enrolled in our school, the next step is to get to know that family and to build the relationships. Mm-hmm. And so ambassadors are so important to that onboarding experience. And now, as Dennis says, without school as it has always been, it brings new challenges. And it makes our Zoom platforms and emails or text messaging and all those things so much more important, because it may be the first opportunity that you'll have a chance to meet these families. And so we're hoping, of course, that we're going to all get together very soon, but we have to be able to recognize that our ambassadors have a huge role in making sure our families feel safe, that they know that they've made the right decision coming to the village school. And just something about what you said, Dennis, about the parent parade. You're right, because I'm always looking at what other schools are doing in our area, in other words, and there have been different iterations of so many things. But there is no question that the village school has been more creative and has chosen to take routes that are different than other schools, that really show the wonderful relationships that the administrators have with the students and the teachers, because they know what we one another need. And that really makes a strong school. And I'm really excited to share what's been happening with people that I know, because I know that it's not been as easy for other people in other the public schools and independent schools around the country. Their challenges have been very similar to ours, but we have made some great choices thanks to Dennis and the admin team and the teachers, and we are really ahead of the game. So I'm excited to do that, and ambassadors play a big role in sharing that with new families.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Jane. I appreciate the kind words, and we do have an awesome team, and I think we are looking always around the corner to try to figure out what best practices are and how we can incorporate them. And we're also willing to try new things and and innovate. And I think that and make it better as a result of that. I think getting out there first and iterating it, trying and then modifying it. Even with distance learning, we know we've learned a lot from the feedback we've received from parents and from our teachers. And if we have to have distance learning in the fall, we know that it will be even better than it is right now. But as we're talking about distance learning, how are you managing it right now as a parent? Sarah, you've got kids of various ages throughout the school, so some probably need more assistance than others. So how are you managing it?
We have a good system. It's taken some tweaking to get there, but now I think we've got a good system going. Thankfully, my husband is home, and we are tag teaming our kids, and he'll take one and I'll take the other, and we'll try to get as much done as we can together. My kids are, they really love school, so it's not really a struggle to get them to do their work or anything like that. My middle schooler is very self-sufficient. He will ask me to proofread more than anything. Other than that, he doesn't really want my help. Teachers have been really great about just being on top of it with him, and so it's just those two little ones really that have needed the most assistance. But we created a schedule during the first week, and like I said, we've tweaked it a couple times, and just we try to take a walk in between to just get them off of the device. That's been a big one, just to let them clear their mind a little bit and step away. That's been a really great help. But consistency really for us is just trying to stick to our normal schedule. And if we do, we'll have a great day. And those days that we just don't stick to that schedule are our only difficult days. Typing has been a struggle. That's a hard one with a kindergartner.
I bet.
But Miss Komanak, our kindergarten teacher, is really patient with all of them and their typing and their pictures of their handwriting. And so it's gone well, better than I could have hoped for. The benefit of a private school, I think we've had a lot of hands-on teachers, and still our teachers are can be really personal and have meetings with the kids one-on-one. So that's it's really helpful.
Yeah, I was actually in one of Mrs. Komanak's morning meetings, I think early on in this, and she was emotional because of how much she misses the kids, and watching them pray together and then signing off with "I love you" signs, to each other. I mean, it's just special. You don't get that at other schools. You really don't. And it's just amazing how you can maintain a connection with a kindergartner through a screen. Like that, because they've already set it up that way by the relationship they build when they were face to face. I think that makes it special, even more special. Brooke, you are a former teacher, and you actually even taught first grade, and we happen to have a first grader and a fifth grader. So how does it feel to dust off the teaching chops a little bit and work with our children?
It's, overall, it has been wonderful. There is a big difference between teaching your own child versus a classroom. Teaching my own child is definitely more challenging, but we're really overall enjoying it. I mean, we have our moments. Like Sarah said, her middle school being self-sufficient. Carly, our fifth grader, is very self-sufficient. I keep in touch with her Google Classrooms, and I check them and just try to make sure she stays, give her like kind of a to-do list and make sure, really just helping her stay organized is all I'm helping her with. And with Cooper, being a first grader, he definitely needs my assistance a little bit more, but he is coming along, and he doesn't like to write, so that's our biggest challenge. When I say, okay, it's journal time, it's like the world's ending, but but he's getting better about that, and yeah, we're enjoying it. I am looking forward to summertime though, when we don't have to be on such a schedule, and but yeah, we've gotten our schedule down and routine, so it's going well.
Yeah, I would just say from a parent perspective, I've got to observe, Mrs. Khan in first grade is doing an awesome job.
Oh, yes.
And the 4-5 team is doing a great job. They found their groove and with scheduling and trying to make it work for the kids. And so it's a real tribute to them, the work they're doing and your support at home as well. How about you, Jody?
Well, I think a lot like all the other parents at Village School, if your children are a little older, I've got a 4th grader and a 7th grader. They're getting a little more independence. At first I started being working the cafeteria at lunchtime, and now it's kind of like, okay, here are your options. Feel free to, make something yourself. And I think for the most part, they've enjoyed that bit of independence and the responsibility that comes with helping out around the house more than they would have if they'd been at school all day. So those things I think have been really good building blocks for them independently. My daughter, being a 7th grader, this so much is done already with her Chromebook, turning in assignments. It hasn't been that big of a transition for her. So like you said, Sarah, I feel like she just kind of goes in her room, does her assignments, gets it done, and I'm just following up to make sure things are taken care of. But Jack, being in 4th grade and transitioning from having one, homeroom class with related arts to, having a math teacher, a language arts teacher, a science teacher, a social studies teacher. This year's a transition year anyway. So to now go to distance learning, it's been quite a leap for him. But I have to say that the teachers have just been unbelievably amazing in helping with this transition and being so patient and understanding when the lesson is getting turned in, but it's the right button wasn't hit. They've just, hats off to them, because it's got to be hard for them too. They're home with their kids, trying to help their kids and teach our kids. So, we are really all in this together.
It's very well stated, Jody. I agree. It does take a village. I mean, it's all of us working together on this, and our teachers from our preschool all the way through our 12th grade are doing such an awesome job. And I think in some ways they are definitely working harder than they ever have before. But I think in some ways they're actually able to give some more individual attention in this space where they're doing kind of, at certain grade levels, being able to do like kind of one-offs with the students, whereas maybe in a brick and mortar setting, they would have to be kind of managing the whole class in a physical sense. So they're able to give a little more individualized attention. So again, I know silver linings is for later, but I think that is a silver lining in a lot of this. So as we kind of transition and we're beginning to think about what next year might look like, and I know there's so much unknown right now, but what kind of just, kind of preliminary thoughts of VESPA, as well as, kind of development, like what's next year going to look like? Jane, I know you've got something that's going to happen in the fall that's really exciting that didn't happen in the spring. So do you want to talk a little bit about our awesome event that will be has been rescheduled?
We're so excited. Thank you to the committee and certainly Jenny Ernest for sticking with it and having great ideas for having the event Night Under the Stars in November. So the new date is November 14th, and it's looking good. And I went as I was delivering gifts yesterday, I went past a club at Pelican Bay, and I thought, okay, we're coming to you soon. So it's going to be great. Again, as we look to next year, we have great opportunities to expand the good work that's already been done. We have a whole new crew of families that are coming in that would love to be part of the event and learn more about the school through the relationships that they would make being on a committee. So that's really exciting. I think not only that, we've got opportunities for other things that VESPA is going to be doing. And so I'm looking forward to working with VESPA to build events, whether they be new events or just kind of fine tune what's happened. So it's great. I look forward to meeting more of the families, because that's my biggest sadness, really, is that this year was cut short certainly for so many people for so many different reasons. But I'm sorry that I didn't get to see a whole year go through and see what you guys do so well in March, April, May, June, So it's going to be a great fall. It's going to be a great event, and we're going to do good things, raise money for the school, and build a stronger community.
Absolutely. No, it's going to be awesome. I appreciate you making those adjustments. And unfortunately, I think you're right. You touched on something really important that we've talked about. It is a bit of sense of loss on what this year might have been, but I know we've got some great plans for moving forward for next year. What about you, Brooke? What are your thoughts about next year?
We have already been talking about it and discussing and planning, and we hoping that this is my optimism coming in, that we can do all of the things next year that we have done in the past. That's my hope. But of course, always thinking about tweaking things that to make them better. Bringing in new events that people would like, but of course we'll talk about things that if we aren't able to all be together, things that we can do virtually. Trivia nights is one of my things I think of because I love trivia, and
yes, we both do.
And but one thing I think is important is just looking for more volunteers. We're always in need of more volunteers, and one thing that we're working on getting together is a Google form that we can send home, a survey, you could call it, or an opportunity form if you're interested in getting more involved in VESPA. Everybody's a member of VESPA, so every parent, if you have a child at Village School, you're in VESPA. So congratulations. But we are always looking for more volunteers to, be there. Just a lot of last minute things come up. Planning events. Our event chairs are fabulous. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that form. And if you would like to get more involved, we would love to have you. The more the merrier.
Well, also too, I think you all do such a great job of, there's various levels of commitment. If you only have a limited time, if you're a working parent, you can do a little bit of something, but if you have a little bit more time, you got the ability to do that. I also too, as we look forward to next year, I know you're probably looking forward to handing off the leadership mantle. So hopefully we'll have an announcement on that soon, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you from the school and from the administration, and certainly from me, for the last 2 years of coming in and resuscitating VESPA and getting it going again. It was so needed, and it was something that was talked about quite a bit on my way in as we came into the school leadership as head. And I just couldn't be more grateful for you, the way that you handled all of this with such grace and style and compassion for all of our members of our community. So
it's part of my Mother's Day gift.
Yes, that is part of your Mother's Day gift. Yes, maybe not tangible gift, but words of encouragement, which is your love language, right?
Yes.
So yes, it's one of your love languages. She likes gifts too. Don't get me wrong. No question about that. Jody, what are some of the plans that you guys have been talking about on your end?
Yeah. Gosh. Well, I think like Brooke said at the very beginning, we're so hopeful that next year we will get to be back on campus, and obviously, to start with is the ambassador program, which we spoke about earlier, but I have to reiterate because it's just such an important part of the whole piece of this. So, if you are interested in being an ambassador, I really do encourage you to fill out the form. I was an ambassador to a couple of families last year, or this year rather, and it's a wonderful thing. It helps the kids get acclimated, helps the parents meet other families. So that's something that we're already thinking about. Obviously, with this week being Teacher Appreciation Week, I have to bring that up because that we already have plans in place for next year. And this year's chairs, Angie Petzak and Kristen Weinman, were so amazing, and they had so many things planned, and they're so enthusiastic to get to share all the things they had set aside for the teachers. And I just know that next year is going to be just unbelievable because they're a dynamic duo for sure. So I would say those are the two things that I'm most looking forward to for next year, but certainly not everything that we have planned.
Yeah, going back to Teacher Appreciation Week for a moment, last year's Teacher Appreciation Week, this is our 4th school. That was by far the most impressive Teacher Appreciation Week I've ever seen. I mean, it really kind of blew my socks off too. And so I'm looking forward to next year, whether that be in August or in May or whenever we're back.
Right.
I know that they're going to have some great plans to really show our teachers how much they care and love them.
Yep.
Sarah, what about you?
I mean, one of the goals even of VESPA is to create friendship, really. So I would love, to see us keep those plans that we had to keep our friendships going with all of our VESPA. And we created some enthusiasm and some steam there for a little bit. I'd like to see that continue. That's a plan of mine. I want to see that roll over to next year. The golf tournament is also next year, and that's already in the works. The gala, it was spoken to, but all of our dances, all of our our grandparents say, it's hopefully all still happening. And it just starts with us now talking about it and planning ahead and talking about chairs, and we kind of get the ball rolling at the end of the year for the next year. And so we'll be getting into those conversations pretty soon to discuss our plans moving forward, and hopefully we'll have a lot of new members, and it's just a hope that's it continues, all the enthusiasm continues.
Absolutely. Well, I know with you, Sarah, and Jody, and Brooke, and Jane, I'm sure the enthusiasm will continue. You all do such an awesome job with our parent association and give countless hours of your time. So We're so grateful for you. As we wrap up our conversation, I love talking about silver linings. I think there's so many to be had in this time and space that we are in. So I just wanted to kind of get your thoughts a little bit. Brooke, we'll start with you. What are some silver linings to this pandemic that we're,
of course, some of the obvious ones: family time, being together more. Something actually you said earlier that I wanted to go back to was about with distance learning, with Cooper especially, having some more one-on-one time with the teacher. She does several Zoom meetings a week, but I like that she has one where it's just her and Cooper, and it's very special. And I think it was a week or two ago, Cooper is really, we started a money unit and identifying points and counting. And it's one of those things that for some kids, it just doesn't click right away. And so we had been struggling a little bit for a day or two. And then she did a one-on-one meeting with him. And after that, it just clicked more. So I think that's definitely a silver lining. I don't know, in the classroom that would definitely be a little bit more challenging with all the other students in the class. So that I think has been definitely a silver lining. And one thing I've been on here that is a silver lining for me is that I don't have to rush around and I'm not late for anything.
That's a good point.
I'm always 5 minutes late to everything. Right now, I don't. Well, actually, we were 5 minutes late to a Zoom meeting on Friday, but that was because of the parade. It threw me off. But that's a silver lining for me is I haven't been late to anything.
Yeah, and I've got a short commute to work and back, right? So it's like, I actually go upstairs. I'm like, I'm going to work. I go upstairs and I come back down. I'm home from work. Just get that ritual kind of helpful for the kids, I think, in our family too. Jody, what about you? What are some of the silver linings to this situation?
Well, I think just on a personal level, a silver lining for me is just being able to slow down a little bit, to not have my day just be one task after the other. Now, instead of getting up, getting everybody out the door and then running errands or, going to work out or whatever it is, it's kind of sit on the porch and enjoy a cup of coffee and, just appreciate that quiet time. And that's something I've really enjoyed. And I'm hopeful that once things pick back up again, I'll find some way to keep that as a part of my routine moving forward. More time with my family is something that I've also enjoyed. And I think from a Vespa perspective, just the appreciation that I have now for all the volunteers and all the people that we've worked with throughout the year, like Angie and Kristen with Staff Appreciation Week, and their willingness to just roll with how this has panned out for all of us and be so eager to just move forward with next year. And again, with Jenny Ernest, because she's just unbelievable and how well she just goes with whatever comes her way, and to move the event from now till November, that's a big deal. That's something that if you've chaired it before or been on the committee before, how much work it is. And so I'm very thankful to those parents because, it really does. It takes all of us to make this thing run. And so I have a lot of gratitude for that.
Absolutely. It's definitely a time to be grateful and share gratitude. And Jenny is a force of nature. That's what I call it. When people ask me how do you describe her, she is a force of nature. She gets things done.
She sure is.
Absolutely. Sarah, what about you?
I 100% agree with what Jody just said. Everyone has slowed down. It was so important. I didn't realize how quick I was always moving from one activity to the next with the kids or to school with volunteering or just errands. I was always moving. I realized that I really didn't even have time to talk to my kids very much in the mornings. We were just out the door. So it's really nice to have breakfast together and talk in the mornings. We've played a lot more board games with the kids. They taught my husband how to play Pokemon cards. Poor husband, and he's so that was so yes, he's the kids were really excited that we had some time and that they could teach their dad a new game. I've read a couple books, which I love to read, and I forgot how much I love reading. So it's been really just important to slow down. But even on another note, like my friendships with the other parents at school, particularly like a couple of my good mom friends here. Even though we haven't seen each other, I feel like it's brought us closer because we are, we are connecting and we're talking and we're relating to each other and we are able to vent. And so it's a big silver lining to me just to know that like I could keep up those friendships even through distance. It's been really special. And of course, the family time, the family walks. It's all really nice just to have the time to do those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right. I think talking about Pokemon, we have a Pokemon fan at our house too. So I might have to do a virtual Pokemon session with Michael and get the kids together. And I need to learn how to play Pokemon. I'm not
He's really good.
Yeah, awesome.
I know you could be good at Pokemon cards. Like I don't understand it. He's like,
I don't understand it either.
I know. Yeah, it is. I'm still learning too, but it's a lot. Cooper loves it, so it's a lot of fun. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Sarah. How about you, Jane?
Oh, well, I kind of think the same as everyone else. I love the fact that we're slowing down. I think all the work I'm doing, all the conversations I'm having are more thoughtful. I try to look at things in a way where I can be more understanding about different possibilities, different opportunities, different challenges. And so that has been good for me. My husband, who travels most of the time, is home, and so I'm enjoying that time. And Sarah, my goodness, I've read books too, and I hadn't had a chance to do that. But I think really I've also learned that I like being home. I really like working from home, and I miss being at school, but I've kind of found a way to make it work, and that took a while. It took a while to find a way to feel as though I was moving forward with my goals at home. And, going back to distance learning, I've spoken with actually some of our donors and my friends whose children are grown. Our youngest son graduated from college last week. If we had to do what you all are doing, my goodness, that's a huge, huge task. And I just appreciate all the moms and dads all over the world, but particularly ours at TVS that have taken this task on because they've had to, but have learned so much from the experience. I think those are all things that make us stronger. And again, I appreciate being able to do what I do from home. And, we've all learned a lot. So as difficult as it's been, it's like I said, we share the joys and we share the challenges. We've grown from this. We're better people. We are more thoughtful. And that's my word for the day, thoughtful positivity.
Thoughtful positivity. I love it, Jane. So true. And for me, I'm a person that likes to move fairly quickly, and it's causing me to be, of course I get a laugh from Brooke, but having to slow down a little bit even more. I'm always very thoughtful, I think, but I do try to, I've got a lot of energy, clearly being type A kind of person. So, but it's been nice to be able to be more reflective. I think for me, working from home has allowed me the time and space to be more reflective. Which I don't always have when we're on campus because I'm kind of going from one thing to the next and a lot of face-to-face contact. But there's certainly so many silver linings, so many great takeaways, I think, from this time that we can bring back into when we come back into whatever the new normal will look like on the other side of this. So, well, thank you, ladies. Happy Mother's Day, Brooke, Jody, Sarah, and Jane. So enjoy your special day that you earned with all that you do. It is a Herculean task to be a mom, and I'm glad I don't have to have that as a dad. So I really appreciate it. Appreciate y'all being here. Next Sunday will be the Vespies. So we won't have the Vespies like we typically would have had, but we will have a celebration of our student athletes. We will have a co-host, which is our athletic director, Cassie Barone. We're going to have a couple really cool surprises planned for you. You will not want to miss next Sunday night at 6 o'clock. So please tune in to Leading from Lanai. Until then, I'm Dennis Chapman, your head of school, reminding you to wash your hands, practice social distancing, but more importantly, show compassion and care to those around you. Nice for life.